Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. Now we're going back to the Volta horror movie. One of my favorite, and the very first segment in that movie, probably my favorite in that entire film, Midnight Mess. As you can see right here, the Midnight Mess first appears in this particular issue, Tales from the Crypt 35. So let's talk a little bit about it before we do an inside look, and then I show you the clips from the movie. How accurate is the translation from comic to movie? Well, it's pretty accurate. I mean, like I said in previous videos like this, the writers of the movie gave each of the protagonists a sinister edge. Okay, I guess the idea is the audience doesn't want to see bad things happen to good people. And so we give the character, like this villainous persona. So when something bad happens to him at the end, he's getting his, or she's getting hers. So it's okay. And they did that with the majority of the characters in all the episodes, in all the segments in both movies. And in the comic, there were some where the characters were bad, like in Blind Alleys and in Poetic Justice and so forth. And This Trick Will Kill You and all that stuff. But in this particular issue, the main character wasn't a bad guy. He was just looking for his sister. The gist of the story is that a man, in this one, in the actual issue, a man's looking for his sister, and he tracks her down to this really weird town where the townspeople are afraid to go out at night, and they tell him, you better get indoors, it's getting dark out. And he's questioning, what's the big deal? So what, it's getting dark out. And he finds out that, vampires come out, in the dark. And of course he doesn't believe any of that stuff, and he's talking with his sister, and she believes it and all that. And she was nervous because he was out in the dark and all that. So that's where it goes. And later on that night, he has a restless. He has got some insomnia. So he decides to go out for a walk. It's late at night. Not too late. Maybe 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night or whatever. And he goes to this restaurant, which was previously closed. And he sees that it's hopping. There are a lot of people there. He goes there, gets a seat, gets the special, whatever the special that they were serving that night is. It's 3 servings, soup, 2 other things. And as you find out that the restaurant was operated by the vampires, and they were serving blood dishes. And the man finds out that his sister's a vampire. That's why she moved to that town. And they turn him upside down, and they put a tap in his jugular vein, and they start draining him of all his blood, and that's the way the story ends. And it's the same way in the movie. But the brother, he's looking for his sister because their father passed away recently. And the father left, I guess, a small fortune to the sister. And according to the will, if she's still alive, she gets all the money. The only time that he would get any of that money is if something were to happen to the sister. So he goes looking for his sister, finds her, and he kills her so that he could get all the money. And then he goes, once again, out to the restaurant that was previously closed. He orders all he takes the special, finds out it's all blood run by vampires, and he sees that the sister was not killed, that she's a vampire. And once again, like in the issue, they string him upside down and they put a tap in his jugular vein. So it was pretty similar, except for that, the evil protagonist in it. So he was more like an antagonist. So, but I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed the actual issue, and I enjoyed the adaptation of it. It's probably, out of both movies, there were 5 episodes per movie, so 10 episodes. One of my favorites. I would say that would be in my top 5 favorite that was produced for those films. So anyway, that's my review on it. I give it, an A+, an A, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It was really good. So please join me as I take a closer look of Midnight Mess, and then please stick around to see how the adaptation in the film turned out. Take care, everyone. Let's stick around. And here we go. An inside look into Tales from the Crypt number 35, in particular focusing on Midnight Mess. Look at this. Look at this beautiful Jack Davis cover. Classic werewolf cover. And look at the Crypt Keeper here. He's on a different angle than what he would normally be in the original, in the portraits that I think we're all familiar with. He's more just facing us rather than looking off to the side. So this is pretty unique in that sense too. Alright, let's open this thing up. The first story is not Midnight Mess, so we are just going to skip over it. Here we go, Midnight Mess. It's the second story. Told by the Vault Keeper, and drawn by, even though that's a Johnny Craig drawing of the Vault Keeper, the story is drawn by Joe Orlando. Look at that. Picture, well, Patrick will know what I'm talking about, Doylesville. Or Doylestown, what I think it was Doylestown in Pennsylvania, where we met up last year for around Halloween. That's what Doylestown looked like. Almost like this quiet neighborhood, kind of strange, windy with leaves falling off the trees, because fall was in full effect by the time me and Patrick met at that time. Beautiful, beautiful town, but maybe holds a dark secret, such as the town in Midnight Mess. Now the movie, the episode in the segment in the movie follows this pretty accurately, except here's the protagonist. He's just looking for his sister, and he tracked her down to this creepy old town, whereas in the movie the guy's tracking down his sister because he wants to murder her to get father's inheritance. But here the guy's actually a good guy, nothing bad. Jeez, look at this guy. Looks like Prune Face from Dick Tracy. The vampires? Yeah, he's telling them, oh, you're out at night, you're a stranger here. Some of the dialogue here in the comic was put right into the movie, word for word. Same thing, when he's in the movie, he sees a restaurant, that just says restaurant. Same thing here. They didn't even try to create a fake name. Goes to the restaurant, he tells them we're closing, it's 5 o'clock, what do you mean you're closing? Well, the vampires are come out later, and guy doesn't believe him. So he leaves. Really good artwork. Goes to his sister's house, finds her, and she also believes that there are vampires around at night. He still doesn't believe her, or doesn't believe that, vampires are around. He thinks it's ridiculous in his own words. Well, I was on the way to the coast and I thought I'd drop in on you. It's good to see you, Harold. You're looking well. Blah, blah, blah. He has a restless night. He wants to go for a walk. He says no one's out. And boom, the restaurant's open again. Looks like a lot of people are going in. A lot of people are there. The waiter, what will you have? Will you have the dinner, sir? Or would you blah, blah, blah? Oh, yes, the dinner's fine. What's on the menu? He tells him what's on the menu. Juice, soup, roast with french fries, coffee, sherbet. I guess that's pretty good. Just like in the movie, he hands him a drink. Tomato juice, or as they say in England, tomato juice. The guy's like, it's very funny. And look at this guy. He's looking creepier and creepier. He looked like just a regular old waiter. Same here. Then he's starting to look sinister and more sinister. Downright creepy. And then just like the line in the movie, do you like your roast clots well done or medium? And this scene, as you'll see, is directly out of the movie. Just spits it right out, and uh-oh, they're all vampires. And then he finds out, boom, his sister's a vampire. That's why she moved to this town, and she's saying she can't help him. Well, in the movie, it's a little different. She apparently was killed by him earlier, and she comes back and decides to have a glass of his blood with all the rest of the townsfolk. But this time, it's more of a, it's a different take, but pretty cool. And she describes what's on the menu: blood clots, French fried scabs, blood sherbet. And he's like, ugh. And that's the end of it. The mob gets him. And just like, yeah, once again, taken right from the movie took this right from the pages here. Nothing like the real stuff. I'll say, man, these people just immediately, their faces just started to change. They looked all normal in the beginning, and now they're all monstrous. So that's Midnight Mess, everyone. Definitely one of my favorite segments out of both movies. One of my favorite stories in the series. So now stay tuned for clips from the movie. We'll close with this beautiful cover again. Take care, everyone.
You're a stranger in town, aren't you?
Yes.
It's getting dark. You better get inside somewhere.
I'd like a menu, please.
I'm sorry, sir, but we're closing.
But it's dinner time. You can't close before 7 o'clock at night.
It's getting dark. We always close before dark. They come out in the dark.
Who?
Who's there?
It's your brother, Harold.
Come in. Quickly. So you found me at last?
Took me a long time.
What do you want?
I've come to see you. After all, you are my sister. Why have you buried yourself in a place like this? Why is everyone so afraid of the dark here?
Because of them.
Them?
There have been 17 cases so far. Bodies found with every drop of blood drained out of them. Now, tell me why you wanted to find me so badly.
Father died 4 weeks ago. I've been looking for you ever since. You're his heir, you know. You always were his favorite. He left you everything. For as long as you live.
Good evening. The table d'hote is rather nice, sir. Juice, soup, roast, sweet, coffee.
Sounds fine. Ah, tomato juice. Oh, yes. Tastes rather strange.
It is our usual, sir.
Oh.
And now, how would you like a roast tots? Well done, medium, rare?
First what?
Clots. Blood clots.
Two, please.